What's up guys, and welcome back to another breakdown video on my YouTube channel. So I'll be making a quick breakdown on EURUSD today as well. And before I do that, if you know you're not subscribed to the channel, kindly hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and also leave a comment right in the comment sections, right? And I also want you to share these channels to your friends, because these breakdowns that I do will help you to get the direction of the market before the market opens. Okay, so quickly let's jump into what we see, or what I'm looking at for the coming week. Okay, so as always, I'm going to start from the higher time frame. Okay, so last week in our forecast video, we were concentrating, or we were talking about the fact that we are working within this bearish weekly swing, right? So we know that weekly is bearish, right? And we were able to define our point of supply on the weekly time frame to be this point right here, right? And apart from that, we can see some other confluences in here. So first off, we have this level of imbalance in here, right? And we have this kind of equal highs over here, right below the supply zone, the weekly supply zone, right? Apart from that, the daily had made a break of structure to the upside, right? So the daily is bullish right here with this break of structure. So let me show that. We talked about all this last week. That is why I'm being quick with it, right? So we talked about this last week, that the daily is bullish, right? And so personally, once I've seen this daily being bullish, I have high confidence that the market is going to pull into this supply zone with all these confluences that I stated, right? The imbalance and liquidity right below the supply zone. Okay, so these are just added confluences. So daily is bullish, and somewhere last week we were looking at this point of interest right here, and this one also, right? And we can see that the first one has been invalidated, okay, but this origin demand zone has been respected. Okay, so I'm going to show that real quick, and after that I'm going to step into the 4-hour time frame, and we will see what price is saying. Okay, so let's keep it in mind, weekly is bearish, daily is bullish. Okay, so quickly let's step into a 4-hour time frame and let's see what price is doing. Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame, we can see price initially price was making what lower highs and lower lows after this first bearish switch, right? After making that bearish break of structure to the downside. So we had continuous flow to the downside on the H4, making lower highs and lower lows, right? Lower highs and lower lows. So you can see that price did not make deeper retracement to the upside. Okay, and the same thing applies to this point, right? But believe me, they are valid for our structural levels, right? So we had for making those lower highs and lower lows, right? Lower high, that means a lower low, right? And we had our last level of supply of the H4 right here broken. Okay, so currently H4 is what is bullish, aligning with our daily time frame. Okay, so quickly let me show that our H4 is bullish. Okay, so H4 break of structure to the upside, H4, great. So we can see that before market closed, we had price come into these levels of H4 and has given a strong rejection. Okay, but does that mean that price will start making the moves to the upside? To me, I think there is more room for price to come to the downside, right? So this is the whole H4 bullish swing leg, right? And we can clearly see this other block over here. And apart from that, the reason why I'm saying that price has the tendency to come down a little is for the fact that, if I take that other block and put my real line 2 on it, we can see that we still have some levels of imbalances to fill, right? So there's a higher tendency that we're going to see price push to the upside like this, and come back into this level of imbalances and also take out this liquidity that was formed in the previous trading week. Okay, so apart from that, what do we also see, right? So if I go to my 1 hour time frame, you're going to see something interesting. Okay, and this also confirms why I'm saying that there is more room for price to move to the downside, right? So we can see here on the H1 that price is making what, lower highs and lower lows, right? So H1 is also bearish. Okay, and this is against the H4. It's just telling you that H4 is making a retracement. So we need to at least wait and see that this intra day time frames are aligning before we can start looking for higher time frame swings, like buys to the upside. Okay, so H1 is also bearish, and so this also adds up as a confluence to see price retrace more to the downside before we can start looking for any buys if price presents an opportunity. Okay, I'm personally looking for price to come into this level. I'm not saying that this level of H1 can't be taken out, no, but to me H1 is bearish with this leg, right? So this is my last point of H1 supply. Okay, if market opens and takes this high out, then I know that H1 has also switched bullish to align with H4 to take the move to the upside. But apart from that, I always look at what the market is telling me. Okay, so H1 is bearish, and this is the last point of H1 supply. Okay, so let me annotate that real quick, and let me step into the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so on the 15-minute time frame, what do we see? So first thing that I see, okay, is, I have relatively equal highs here, or let me say liquidity built up right in here. So liquidity to the upside, and I have price taking out that liquidity. Okay, so also we can see that within this whole bearish H1 leg, right, 15 minutes is making what, lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so we can see that this last point of 15-minute supply is still what's being respected. It's not broken yet. Okay, so 15 minutes is bearish, H1 is also bearish, but H4 and daily are bullish. Okay, so we need to have that in mind, right? So analyzing the 15-minute structure, right, let me just show this 15-minute supply, okay, to be as big as this. And normally I don't like going into lower time frames in situations like this, okay, but today I think I have to. So I'm going to step into my 5-minute time frame and show you something. Okay, so here on the 5-minute time frame, we can see price making what, higher highs and higher lows against the 15-minute bearish structure. Okay, and if you pay attention, or if I zoom in, you're going to see that this last point of 5 minutes is respected. Okay, it's not broken yet, not even with a wick. It has created like some sort of equal lows, right? So it still tells me that the momentum is still bullish, right? So we need to always follow that. Okay, so you need to combine all these things, and know you need to combine all these things before you make a trading decision, right? So we can see that this bullish 5-minute structure gives me an added confluence that there is a higher possibility of price to retrace into this level of H1 supply before we can start looking for trades to the downside. Okay, so yeah, so that is it. Apart from that, I can refine this supply zone up here, right, to this. Okay, so this will be my refined 5 minutes point of interest. Okay, but I'm still going to keep my larger one in here. Okay, so currently we can see that 15 minutes is bearish and price is within the 15-minute supply zone. Okay, but 5 minutes is still bullish, continuing with the bullish momentum. Okay, so we need to watch that. Okay, so let's see how market is going to open. Let's see if market opens is going to give us that push to the upside with making what, higher highs and higher lows, right? And probably if it taps into this H1, level of supply, probably we are going to have a change, right? Like this, we're going to have the 5-minute changing intent to tell us that it is ready to go bearish, right? Then we can start looking for sales to the downside. And another thing, remember that if 15 minutes changes intent right here, right, with this 5 minutes continuous momentum, bullish momentum, it means that even if 5-minute changes intent to a bearish one right here, 15 minutes is still what? Is still bullish. So any trade that you'll be taking will be counter trend to the 15 minute, but it will be pro trend to H1. Okay, so you have to have that in mind. Okay, so the scenarios that I'm looking at is, like I said, either to see 5 minutes make a push into these supply zones, right, of the H1, then we can have a change of intent, then we can start looking for sells to the downside, or I am going to have this bullish momentum of 5 minutes breaking, right, within the 15-minute supply zone, right? Then I'm going to have a continuation to the downside, okay, because 15 minutes is bearish with the swing. Okay, so that is what I'm looking at. There is so much opportunity that is going to show up within this coming trading week. So just take your time, don't rush. Okay, don't rush, just take your time and see that price develops and gives you something that is reasonable before you jump into making buys or sells. So this is where I'm going to end today's video. Give this video a thumbs up, share this video to your friends, they might need it, right? Those who are trading, share this video to your friends, and leave a comment in the comment section. Okay, and like I said from last week, this video, even though it's on EURUSD, if you get the direction that I'm giving, is going to give you a fair idea of the direction of the US dollar index, right? And that is going to help you to know the direction of the US dollar. Okay, so see you in another video sometime.